everybody, my name is Janet. Welcome to Janet Asks. Thank you so much for clicking on this video and I hope you enjoy it. If you're a high schooler like me who also struggles in figuring out which career is best suited for you, don't worry because this channel is for you. I'll be interviewing people of all different occupations and hopefully that could help you understand these careers a little bit better and help you figure out which career is best suitable for you. So let's get started. Today I'll be interviewing a very successful software engineer who has been working in Facebook for more than 3 years, and I'm very interested in learning more about this job because I know how popular this is due to the advancements and the demand in technology. And I also know that it's very popular among high schoolers who are very interested in going into the tech and engineering industry. So I'm very excited to learn more about this so desired job. And so my special guest today is Michael. Hi, Michael. How are you doing?
Good. I'm really good. Thank you.
Thank you so much for joining me here on Janet Asks. I am so excited to learn more about your career.
Yeah, awesome. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so first question, what is your job exactly? Like, what do you do as a software engineer?
Yeah, so software engineering is sort of like this umbrella term for a wide scope of like computer science applications. Can involve like mobile work, back-end server-side work, and also like website work. In my case, I do all three. Um, I work at Facebook and I'm in charge of the technical implementation details. Some responsibilities of software engineering are understanding and familiarizing myself with a bunch of these tech frameworks, both proprietary and public, and also working closely with different project managers and engineering managers and designers, a lot of different roles to basically let them know like the technical constraints we're working with, expected timeline, and any blockers. So yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. That's really cool that your job is kind of like working on the things that we use on a daily basis online. And could you please explain your career path, kind of like where did you start and how
Mhm.
did you end up becoming who you are today as a software engineer?
Yeah. So I guess it first started as a kid when I was first getting into like computer science. I played a bunch of Flash games growing up and um, eventually wanted to learn how to make some of my own. So uh, there's this uh, uh, there's this basically it just got deprecated, but Flash games they used to be written in ActionScript, and so I downloaded Flash and was just playing around with ActionScript, and that was like my first foray into computer science. But yeah, from that, like I always knew that I had an interest in like programming, and so in high school I took a bunch of classes and found it really fun. Um, and I started to get more involved. I did like hackathons, and through that I was able to find some really cool internships, and basically it kind of just built up from there. Like I would just use one internship and my experiences there to like get another internship and like at a different company, trying out different technologies, figure out what I wanted to do. I basically hopped from like I'm currently at like super big corporate Facebook, but when I first started like doing computer science, I my first internship was like at a small startup, and then from there I worked on my own stuff, and then I also joined. Um, I did like a co-op experience in college where for a year uh, I worked in Austin, Texas for a basically like an Uber for lawn care company. Um, and that was like a really small company that I like when I joined, I was like the second engineer working with just the CTO. And then when I left and currently now they have like 30 plus employees growing strong. So um yeah, I've definitely been from like the smallest company to like the largest of the companies. But yeah, currently now I'm at Facebook, and I've been there for over 3 years, and I'm currently working on this project called Community Help, sort of born from the coronavirus pandemic, but um, right now we're focusing on basically a platform for people to request and offer help from each other on Facebook.
That sounds amazing, and it's cool how you started getting interested in this since you were really young. And as you know, as high schoolers, we like to try to participate in activities or take
Mhm.
classes in high school that can get us the exposure and experience related to the field of interest. What type of activities or classes do you think high schoolers who are interested in the engineering field should participate in or
Mhm.
take?
Yeah. Um, there's a bunch of really cool activities you can get involved in high school. I guess like for starters, um, computer science is like such a great topic to pick because there's an infinite trove of like learning materials online. Um, anything you're interested in building, really you just need to pick something that you want to build, and you can find like a tutorial and like a jump start for like learning that. So like if you're interested in building games, you can attend local game jams and also online game jams, which are sort of like hackathons focused on building games. If you're interested in working in like more of a competitive environment, building like but more of a product focused still. You can attend hackathons, which is like a 1 to 2 day fully focused session where you and a bunch of other people come together and work on like new ideas. There's a bunch of self-learning resources online. You can just Google any YouTube, any tutorial that you want, and there's going to be like some guy teaching you how to build like Tetris or something like that. I highly recommend getting involved in computer science classes as well. Um, there's a lot of things that they like. There's a lot of things that you can get from like working side by side with like a real professor teacher. So definitely recommend those. Uh, and then also for those who are like very competitive and also interested in like the more, I guess, like algorithm side of computer science, there's programming team competitions as well. You can usually find. I have no doubt that you can find a bunch of competitions in your local high school.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of different things
Yeah,
that people can do in high school who are interested in engineering.
yeah,
Um, since this is such a popular job, I'm sure a lot of people like it. So, what's your favorite part about being a software engineer?
yeah. Honestly, it's a great time to be a software engineer. I think like the flexibility, not only on a day to day basis, but on like a career wise basis, like it's I feel like it's pretty unrivaled. Um, there's so many companies, there's so many technologies, there's so many opportunities that you can get involved in computer science. You can pretty much like pick anywhere you want, and you can work. You can find like computer science jobs. Um, also, like not to even mention like the huge amount of like remote opportunities there are for computer science. Um, you can work on almost any product that you want, like anything you like, anything you're interested in buy, like if it's like 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 automated cars, if it's like the actual like factories building those cars automatically, um to like the mobile app that those cars use to like talk to like tell their owner like where they are, like you have so many different products that like require software engineers that you can really choose like a company and a product that you're interested in, and like you really have like an investment in. And also, not to mention that there's like also a great financial stability for those who choose to become software engineers.
Yeah, so that's really cool. I really like that. So, to me, these engineering jobs sound a little bit hard and difficult. So,
Mhm.
what do you find the most difficult about being a software engineer?
Yeah, there's definitely I think there's definitely like something that's not as um well mentioned. I think like when I think there was kind of like this thought that like, oh, like when you're an engineer, like sometimes you're going to just be like a code monkey, just face down, just like as long as you can like get this code out, and or like finish this program or whatever, and like if you can do it like fast, and like you're just the black box. They tell you what they want, and then you just like spit out the code. Um, but that's really not what it is at all. When once you're like working there, engineers, I think nowadays are sort of like becoming like the glue that like hold the sort of operation together. The development cycle for like programs and mobile apps are really heavily focused on engineering, on the engineering side now. So like you'll find that engineers, as an engineer, you need to do things like you need to wear multiple hats. You need to be able to like manage a project. You need to be able to like track tasks and assign them to others like a manager would. You need to be able to like resolve blockers and like reach out to like other teams like a like a like a project manager or engineering manager would do. Um, you need to also have like you need to also um, like I said earlier, you need to be aware of technical constraints. You also need to be like aware of like the design implications that those like technical constraints have, and you need to be able to like work with like your designer or your content strategist, to iron those out. So really like you need to be able to like work across all these different um, disciplines, and like have like some like basic working skills across all of those jobs. And yeah, so like I'd say like soft skills and like that, being able to like be flexible and wear multiple hats is like super, it's challenging and also rewarding.
Yeah, that sounds
Yeah.
like a lot and a lot of like responsibility. Um, what was something that you learned about your job as a software engineer that you found surprising or unexpected after working in Facebook for more than 3 years?
Yeah, I guess this would also help like high schoolers and those like looking to eventually apply to jobs. But one thing I thought was interesting is that software engineering interviews um, kind of test an entirely different skill set than what's actually used in day-to-day jobs. Like you would expect yourself like be putting to use all these like fancy algorithms, like, oh, like in case I ever need to like like calculate like the distance from these two circles, like I got this like fancy algorithm to do it for me. But like really, like from a practical engineering standpoint, I almost never use any of these like fancy like quick sort algorithms that I've learned for interviewing. So you can't really go from like practical day-to-day engineering like face like working at Facebook even, and like go into interviews and expect to ace them. It's really like sort of like an entirely different skill set, something that's more that you would see more in like programming team or working those like computer science competitions. um, those are more so what like interviews are like. But yeah, like day to day is really nothing like um what interview questions are like and like what you prepare for.
Um, can you please explain what a typical day for a software engineer looks like?
Yeah, in no order of time. I usually have a couple one-on-ones in a day with coworkers or like my manager or like any like other like designers. Usually just some of it's like personal, just like just talking, like being friendly. Some of it's just like talking about work, anything that like would be helpful to talk about in like a one-on-one environment. Um, couple of those. I I think, I don't know if this is like, I'm pretty sure this is like common across other companies, but when you want to like release a new feature, you need to test to see whether or not it's like an actual good feature. So it's really like your biology classes, like where you have the control and test group and you have these hypotheses. Like that's what the iteration like engineering wise is like centered around this like experiment cycle. And that's also something that surprised me. Like I guess like it makes sense. Like, duh, of course we're going to experiment on it. But yeah, like engineers usually have like a couple of experiments that they're running at any given time, with a control and test group, and it's up to you to like, every day I'll like check on my experiment, see what the data looks like, see if I have any like statistically significant results that I can present. Um, After that, I have usually there's like some bugs going around the product and bug reports that we have to monitor to make sure that, like there's not anything broken with the product. Have stand-ups with the team where basically we go over our list of tasks, just report to the team like whether we're blocked anything, need any help. um, Building out features uh, takes up pretty big portion of the time, unsurprisingly. And then finally, like usually once or twice, 3 times a week, we have like social activities where we just like, forget about work, and we play like Among Us or like Jackbox or something with the team. And then before the pandemic, uh, I would usually leave work and like go do like, when I left work, I would, I don't know if this is like, this is not that unique, but yeah, I would just like have this rule where like I didn't really look at work stuff after work. So I would go typically do something like, go to like volleyball practice or something. Um,
That's very interesting. Um, so what are some of the common misconceptions that you think you should clear up regarding about being an engineer?
um, so like I mentioned earlier, I think there's like a misconception that like soft skills um, aren't as important in engineering. It's very important, and like for things like promotions and becoming like a more senior engineer, you're expected to program less and be able to like lead and like manage your projects more. And so that definitely requires like communication and leadership and things like that. I think another decently big misconception is that you need to be good at math to become an engineer. Maybe it's more so required in like other engineering disciplines, but and some like niche computer science roles might require more math than others. But I think like the most intensive like math calculations I needed to use at Facebook are like summation and like averaging, which is like pretty pretty basic. You pick those up like in elementary school. So um, yeah, I think like mostly uh, if you like logic problems, that's more so what like software engineering, computer science is mostly like. Uh, Something like if you enjoy playing like, man, I don't know, like card games or like board games or like strategy games, those like ideas and like principles you pick up in those games are usually what like you use in like software engineering. So yeah, if you feel like, like I wouldn't just write off software engineering as a potential career just because you don't like math, because um, I think you'll find like practically, it's kind of like interviewing. Interviewing, you need to know a lot of algorithms based stuff, but when you're actually like in the practical role, you'll find that when I go to Facebook, like we have a fancy library that handles it all for you. So you just need to write like one line, and then the quicksort algorithm that someone smarter than me wrote is just going to do it for me. So I don't need to worry about that.
Yeah. I think a lot of people's goal in life, especially looking for careers, to be successful,
Mhm.
but that looks a little bit different for different careers. So, what do you think? What do you think success looks like for a software engineer?
Mhm. Yeah. So software engineering is such a wide field. It really depends on your own value system. And I guess like, part of that problem is identifying what your value system is. There's a ton of people that I work with that have different value systems. Some of them are very career focused and spend a lot of time, they put in more hours and they try to shoot for these like higher responsibility roles. Other people are, they have like different priorities and like optimize for things like work-life balance and like maybe like activities outside of work, having time to do those things outside of work. Um, and it's up to the person to figure it out. And the good news is that there is no shortage of jobs and like opportunities. So I'm pretty sure no matter what like situation someone's looking for, that exists in the world, and they can definitely find it. So yeah, success can look a lot of different ways. Like a lot of people, like at Facebook, we have these different levels for engineering. For like engineering seniority, like E3 is like a junior engineer, and it goes all the way up to E5, which is like a senior engineer. Um, and a lot of engineers, who join the company, they're looking to like become like an E5 senior engineer. A lot of other people are interested in like eventually creating their own company. And then there are other people who there's nothing wrong with like optimizing for money. So like they like um, something you'll find a lot in like computer science and software engineering is that like a lot of engineers will like bounce between these companies. So like every 4 years, I think like that's the average or less. An engineer will basically go from one company to the other, and that's like um, basically looking for like refresh salary, refresh stock, getting more money. So yeah, uh, yeah. In conclusion, it depends, but you can definitely find the situation that you're looking for.
Yeah. That's very interesting. Final question. If you could give advice to younger high schoolers or college students that want to pursue their path of being a software engineer, what
Mhm.
would you give them, and what should they kind of avoid doing if they want to be successful in this career?
Mhm. That's a good question. I think one good idea is to not expect school to prepare you fully for software engineering. It's a great place to like find all these resources, but if you think about it, if you're like really aiming for like some of these like bigger name companies, everybody is going to be going through, usually a lot of people are going to be going through these same like school pipelines. And um, if you want to stand out, you probably want to look for some like more unique experiences. Hackathons are a great idea. Getting like as many internships and co-ops as you can. You can even start in high school if you get lucky. But yeah, I'm sure that there are like companies who are willing to take on like eager interns. And um, also recommend like taking on a lot of like side projects. There's like infinite resources online, so you don't need to wait for your school to like give you a class to learn about something. Um, you can do so many different things, like make your own video game. You can get a Raspberry Pi, which is like a small portable computer, and like build like a small machine, like a time lapse machine, which is something that I did. And then yeah, the good news is that like in high school you have time on your side, so use it to get a head start and uh, basically figure out what you want. I guess like it's an advantage to be like to like software engineering, computer science, because you can do it all from like your computer. Whereas maybe like other like interests, like if you're really interested in building a bridge, like I don't know, like you can't really do that in high school probably. But software engineering, yeah, it's open to everybody, and anyone can get into it. So um, yeah, just start building and figuring out what it is you like.
Yeah, thank you for those advice and thank you for coming onto this channel. I learned a lot about being a software engineer and yeah, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you so much, Janet, and thanks for having me.
Thank you so much for watching this video and I hope you enjoyed it and I hope you learned a lot from Michael about being a software engineer. And if you like this type of video, please like and subscribe. And if you want to follow more updates, please follow my Instagram. And if you have any more questions or you want to learn more about another specific career, please comment down below and I'll try to cover that for future videos. So yeah, thank you so much. I hope you have a nice day. Bye.